Boom! We are live on both Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Nailed it. Welcome back, you guys, to our daily live feed. As you guys are getting logged on, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to our daily live feed. Welcome. Give it a couple minutes for you guys to get logged on. What's up? Tonight's topic is about choosing a show as a newer competitor. Welcome. Hi. This particular topic was brought on because of last night's topic, and I have had several girls DM me and ask me, okay, so what show should I do? And I get this asked of my clients, my posing clients, pretty much every single day. So I figured this was a good topic to go through. And as we're waiting for everybody to get logged on and talk more about this, our next show will be The Gladiator. So yes, definitely need to know how to do this. Yes, it's not easy, and there won't be a one right answer for everyone. I'll give you that much right now while we're waiting for everybody. But yeah, so Gladiator is our next show. Then we have, what do we have after that? Something here in Virginia? Yeah. No, Clash. Clash is the one after that. Then the Virginia Classic is the one after that. Then Pittsburgh, and so on and so forth. So, happy Wednesday. Yes. I keep forgetting what day of the week it is. So there's that. Welcome, you guys. And yes, I am drinking an energy drink at this time of night. Don't judge me. I have more work to do this evening. Starting to get my studio soundproofed, which I kind of can hear that now. I'm not echoing as bad. Got some stuff up on the walls already, so that's good. Prep feels, I know, right? For real. Well, I also have my water jug here too, so I'm balanced. I'm balanced. I got my water jug and I got my energy drink, so I'm balanced. Hello. Yes, all the girls are in the building tonight. Yes. If you're not on YouTube, go ahead and switch over to there if you can. We got half and half, basically. We'll give it another minute, and then we'll start on this topic. So as we're waiting, last night we talked about what it meant to be an IFBB pro and how to get there and the steps involved and all of that. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a new competitor and how to choose your shows. Okay. So I work with a lot of relatively new competitors, whether they're first-time competitors or they've been competing for a couple of years or whatever. I do work with a lot of brand new competitors in the sport. So this is something that we do have to talk about quite often. Every time I think I have made a choice, I learn new information until it changes again. Yes. So here's the thing too. You can overanalyze this for sure. You can overanalyze, your show choices and everything about prep. Sometimes you overthink things. I know I am an overthinker. That is also why I have a coach, because then I don't have to think about it as much. I have my thoughts, but having a coach allows me to have somebody to bounce those thoughts off of and make decisions from. You need to be able to know that your coach understands the strategy of the sport, understands what you're supposed to look like, what the criteria is, all of those kinds of things, right? So that will actually help take a lot of stress off of your plate. Now, how do you figure that out? You got to make sure you got a coach that's reputable and that has put people on stage that are in your position, meaning as brand new competitors, they better be good at putting brand new competitors on stage. That should be something that they can actually do. That should be something that they're good at. So you have to always remember, going back to what we talked about last night, if you're not a pro, having a coach that understands the pro league but doesn't understand NPC and how to maneuver that probably isn't going to help you much. So I see this happen a lot where girls are always drawn to a coach because they have a lot of top pros. Well, guess what? You're not a top pro. You're an NPC competitor. So you need to have somebody that understands your position and where you are. And I'm not saying that those coaches who have those top pros can't help you. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is they better have some NPC competitors that they're doing well with as well. They know how to strategize for girls that are in your position, know how to dial you in, know what the criteria is, understand what you should look like on those stages. So don't get fuzzy-eyed because the coach has a bunch of pros. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to know what to do for you, right? So understanding that difference is huge. Okay. Now, how do you choose a show? The easiest way to choose a show is choose something that is in your backyard, something that's relatively local, that you don't have to travel to, that you can just get on stage and experience the stage itself. Don't worry about who the judges are. Don't worry about who the promoters are. Don't worry about if it's a pro-am. Don't worry about if it's a national qualifier. None of those kinds of things. As a brand new competitor, all you should be worried about is putting yourself on stage in your best possible condition. That's it. And that's not to say that you need to look like a pro either, because remember, let's go back to that analogy that we made last night, that you are a Pee Wee football player. It's going to take a process for you to get to the pro league, but you want to look like you can be competitive at the local level. Okay, so I'm going to take our area, for example, the Mid-Atlantic Zone. We have a ton of shows here in the Mid-Atlantic Zone, here in Virginia, DC, Maryland, Pennsylvania, all of the shows in this area. There are 2-3 shows a month in all of these different states. Ohio, West Virginia, they all have shows, every single one of them. So if you are thinking about getting on stage in one of these shows, go watch one first. Go to one and actually watch it, right? One thing I wish I did was look at the awards given. All I wanted was a tiara. That's too funny. Facts, do your best, see what you got. That's right. Do your best and see what you got. Absolutely. 100%. I know Jenna, right? Yeah. I'm trying to think. I got a sword my first show that I ever did. My first show I ever did, I got a sword. So I got trophies. I like the girl. Actually, I've got one sitting right here. One of my ladies. Right here. This was from 2009, you guys. She actually broke. I put her back together. This is 2009. You know what? I take that back. This was my first show. Right here. I take that back. When did I get the Knoxville one? That was my first bikini show. That's right. This is my first figure show right here. My first bikini show. I got a sword. That's right. Anyway, that's my very first trophy right there. Although the swords make me nervous when my 6-year-old nephew comes. Yeah. Well, mine's actually a dagger, so it's pretty heavy, but it's only like this long. It's not one of the big, huge ones. It's a dagger. So I guess it's a dagger. Technically, it's not a sword, but whatever. But in general, that is something that actually I took into consideration when I was in the NPC. I wanted to go to shows where I could get cool stuff, because there are some shows that don't do that. That was when I initially started. I wanted to get cool trophies and stuff like that. As I was working my way up and wanting to get nationally qualified or whatever it might be in order to go to national level, I didn't care about the trophies anymore. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to get nationally qualified. So I didn't care what the trophy was at that point. It could have been a freaking piece of paper. I didn't care. But again, going back to being a brand new competitor, go to the shows in your area. Okay. Watch them. Go watch a show before you ever step on stage. Go watch a show. I promise you, you will see things through a completely different light, right? I'm going to bring that somewhere. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Most of the stuff that we see online and that we talk about and that is shared on Instagram and things like that are of pros. So you can really get overwhelmed really quickly thinking that that's what you got to look like. When you go to an actual local NPC show and you see what the competitors look like, all of a sudden it's not that scary anymore. You realize, oh, I can actually do this. I look like these girls. I can do this. I really highly encourage you to go to a local show to watch before you ever compete. Okay. So, if you're thinking about going and competing, say August of this year, well, between now and August, there's at least 6 shows right here in our area, at least, that you can go and watch and get an idea for how the competitors look, get an idea for how this show actually flows, and it will probably make you less intimidated. You'll probably feel a whole lot better about yourself because they don't look like pros at the NPC level. So that's my first piece of advice as far as when you're going to choose an actual show as a first-time competitor, go watch one first in person. Not a pro show, and local NPC show. Okay? Very true. I went to several local shows and it was so different and it helps to not be shocked. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's how it was for me. It took going to my first show to light the fire for me to actually do it. Right. Because then you realize that these girls that are getting on stage are just like you. Right? They're not the Jen Dories, the Laura Lees, and stuff like that of the world. They're gorgeous, they're beautiful, they're top pros, but they are elite of elite. And one day maybe you can get there, but not right now. Not right now. It's a first-time competitor. You're going to be against first-time competitors. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. Okay? So that's my first piece of advice. Go find a show that's local that you can go watch. Then when you actually decide to do a show yourself, pick a local show. Maybe one that you can even stay at your house for. I did that. My first show was in Knoxville, so I did actually it was actually an Airbnb. So I did get residents to actually stay in, not my own, but this was also 13 years ago, so it was a long time ago. And they're not 40 girls in one class. Right. Yeah. Right. I went to my first show the week before my first show. Totally awakened me. Yeah. I went to watch a friend do it before I knew what it really was. And from that moment on, I knew it was something I wanted to do. There you go. Perfect. Yep, exactly. So that's my piece of advice. Now, when you decided on a show, pick a local show. And again, it doesn't have to, when you're first starting out, it really doesn't matter who your judges are. It doesn't matter who the promoters are. It doesn't matter any of those things. What matters is that you're getting on a stage that is easily accessible to you, which means local, right? If you can stay at your house, that kind of thing, that's helpful. Or go stay in the host hotel. I'm actually a fan of staying in the host hotel. Just get away from your home, and you can kind of enjoy the whole experience, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But again, local, so that you don't have to freaking fly somewhere. Okay. I do the host even when the local, just because our traffic is stupid, distractions of home life, etc. There you go. Yeah, exactly. What I just said. Perfect. Same thing. Same thing. Even when I'm, doing hair and makeup at a show or sponsoring a show or something like that, even if it's local, I still go to the host hotel. I still do that because I want to be able to be on site if something happens, right? I always stay at the hotel to put me in the zone. Yep. Especially if you're, if you have kids, you're a mom or something like that, you want to get away. I know for me, my dogs drive me nuts. I want to get away. I want to get away and be able to relax and not worry about those things that go on in normal home life, right? Be able to sleep, not worry about getting tan all over everything, right? Those kinds of things. So again, local. But at the end of the day, I do recommend not staying at home. If you're going to be more comfortable at home, by all means, but it's up to you. But so that's the next thing. Now, the other piece of this to take into consideration is your coach. If you have the ability to do a show where your coach is going to be there, that's always helpful, especially as a first-time competitor, because they can see you, they can watch you, they can see you in person and tell you what to eat, what to drink, all those kinds of things, fill you out correctly, all of that. Seeing your coach in person on show day is absolutely helpful. Now, if you have a good coach, they don't need that. They don't need to see you in person, but still not a bad deal. Be able to see your coach in person for your show day, right? And sit and watch Diners and Dives. There you go. So, that's the last thing to kind of take into consideration is your coach able to be there at your show? Even myself as a pro, I have a new coach coming as I'm coming back. And that is something that I'm taking into consideration. I want to be able to be at shows where my coach is going to be there because I just feel like she'll be able to dial me in better and she'll be able to learn my body a whole lot faster. One of the benefits to what I do is that I do travel to a lot of these big shows and I get to check in with my coach in person, even though she lives in Arizona. I check in with her in person at these shows. I checked in with her in person at the Arnold. That for me is really beneficial. Really beneficial, right? I just love watching the Food Network. P.S. Make sure coach has NPC card for Backstage Pass too. Yeah, that's something to realize. If you guys didn't know that, in order to be able to go backstage as a coach, they need to have an NPC card. It's for insurance purposes at all shows. If you're backstage, you have to be able to be a part of the actual league, that kind of thing. That's so important for me having my coach there. Yeah, I think it's important for a lot of people. A lot of coaches are really good at doing the online thing, and I think that's very helpful. But I also think that it can shorten the learning curve for a coach if you are in person with them. Meaning they can learn your body a whole lot faster if they see you in person, right? So I should come to Arizona, right? I should come to Arizona. I know. I've thought about it, and I gotta have a reason, basically. But yeah, it's definitely not out of the question for me to get out there. So, but yeah, that for me, that's something that's important to me. I don't have a whole lot of wiggle room to fuck around. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that what I'm putting on stage is exactly right. If I've got details wrong, I want her to be able to fix it. Right? I had that happen once at a show where I thought that my tan was dark enough just by looking at myself, and I was very, very wrong. My coach was not there. So I went on stage and I looked like I didn't even have a tan on. And it was my fault because I just assumed I was fine. And no, I was not. Can't see myself clearly on show day. That's why you need a coach, right? You never stay long, go sleep, wake up to it. That's funny. Make sure for bigger shows, I pick the shows. My coach will be there. My coach is in Arizona too. Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like once this is something as a brand new competitor, I don't think it is necessary. I don't think you have to have it, but I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful to have your coach in person. Now, if you're working with somebody who's an online coach and things like that, there's only so many shows that they can go to. Maybe you do go fly to where they are in order to get on stage. I don't know if I would do that for my first show, but maybe after I've done it a couple of times, yeah, go fly to a show where your coach is going to be there so they can actually learn you a little bit quicker, right? Having my coach at my last show really helped my overall look. Yeah, because they can always adjust you from moment to moment. If they're backstage with you, they can tell you what to eat. Sometimes, and I'll say this, even as a posing coach, it's really hard for me when you guys are at shows sometimes and you send me pictures and videos with bad lighting. Some of you guys are really, really bad at taking good pictures, man. Like, get better with these lights. We've done this enough. I say that all the time. I don't know how some coaches can coach their clients with the quality of photos and videos that they get from their competitors. It's really hard. It's really hard to see conditioning and things like that if the lighting is wrong. It's hard to see poses if the angle is wrong. All of those kinds of things. So you have to do your part as a competitor too, and make sure that you're giving your coach good information. That is huge, guys. Giving your coach good information is huge. So to go back, don't get too caught up in who the promoters are. Is it a pro-am? Did they have national judges? Does this qualify me for nationals? Like, those are things that you can start thinking about when you've competed a few times. When you're first starting, pick a show that's easily accessible to you, that you can get on stage easily without a whole lot of stressors, and just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off and go do it, right? After you've done that, then you can start strategizing. Okay. Then you can start really working on, okay, what is my overall goal? You may get on stage for the first time and not even want to do it again. That's a very realistic possibility. You may hate it. I tell people all the time, like after that first show, you know that you're either hooked or you're done. There is no in between. You're either going to be doing this forever or you're never going to do it again. One or the other. So just realize that that first show is your opportunity to just do it and to get it done. Then you can start thinking and start figuring out where you want to go and strategizing and all those kinds of things. But there's also that concept of paralysis of analysis. And if you overthink things too much, you'll never get on stage. It happens to a lot of people. They overthink every little thing and then they end up never even getting on stage to begin with. So don't be that person, right? So I did my first 2 shows back-to-back weekends. Do you recommend that for people who are working on stage presence, or since they are back-to-back and local, why not? Do you not recommend that? Well, I'm hooked, line and sinker, yes. So as far as back-to-back shows, I think back-to-back shows are a great idea. If you got a week or 2 in between, I think that's even better because that gives you the opportunity to kind of relax a little bit and make a couple of adjustments from week 1 to week 3 or something like that. Again, as a new competitor, a lot of times it's just about getting up on stage and doing it. So sometimes you get on stage, you do that first one, and it goes a little shaky because, you've never done it before, that kind of thing. You're like, oh man, I wish I could have done this different. I wish I would have done that different. So going right into a show the following week is probably not a bad idea as a first-time competitor. Once you've done it a little bit, then maybe strategize a little bit more. Maybe do a couple of weeks in between. I actually think it's a good idea to plan a couple of shows within like a 6-week time frame. Right? You're already dieted down. You're already ready to go. You might as well take advantage of it. Right? You might as well get up on stage again. And if you have a few weeks in between, that gives you the opportunity to make some changes and some improvements and do it better the next time. That's what I did even my first year. I think there was a week in between my first 2 shows, I think. That's what it was. I can't remember exactly. They're both in August, though. I remember that. It was a Knoxville Classic and then the Tennessee State. And they were either a week or 2 apart from each other. And I definitely looked and did better at Tennessee State than I did in Knoxville because I fixed some stuff in those whatever 2 weeks or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Any questions, you guys? So those are my tips basically. Go watch a show. Go watch a show in your local area so that you get an idea of what you're going to be stepping up against. B, pick a local show. Make a show that you can get into easily accessible. Okay. C, go into a show where your coach is if you can. Okay, those are the 3 things to worry about. Then once you've actually done it, then you can start implementing all the strategy. Right? Yep, like the girls doing April 23rd and 30th coming up. Correct. That's right. Yep, back to back. Might as well. Because again, you'll kick off the cobwebs and you'll kick off all the nerves and things like that first show. And the second show will likely go better. It will likely go better the second time. How do you find a reputable coach is a completely separate live feed in and of itself. We've done that several times in the past. I'm sure we'll cover it again. But that is a whole other topic. Any other questions on this topic on choosing shows as a newer competitor? Any other questions on choosing shows as a new competitor? We'll be here for like 3 hours if we keep going down some of these questions. Well, the good thing is that all of the show schedules this year are basically back to normal. We've got most of them, back. Most of them were back last year already. So that's a great thing too. So you have a lot of options. You have a lot of opportunities. Is a regional show considered a pro-am show? No, not the same thing. Nope. A pro-am show can be considered a regional show, but not vice versa. Just depends. Embarrassing. But going to watch a regional show is not a bad idea. If you're a relatively new competitor, going to watch a regional show or national pro-am is not a bad idea to go to watch before you compete in one, and also before you decide to go to national level. Because usually the regional and the pro-am shows have more competition, more quality competitors. I'm going to Girl Fit. I mean, Girl Power. And I'm not going to Girl Power this year. No, if that's the question. That is not on my list this year. Any other questions on this? So the basic gist of it, guys, keep it simple. Keep it simple, okay? As a first-time competitor, don't overthink. Don't over-compare yourself online. Don't over-analyze. Just get on stage, okay? Rip the Band-Aid off. Get on stage. Figure out if it's something you even like doing. And then if you do, then you can start strategizing a little bit. Then the strategy comes into play. And that's going to, again, be individual to every single person, depending on what their goals are. Okay? And that's our live feed for tonight. So I hope everybody had a good Wednesday. Mine was very busy. We got all of our stuff dropped off in the big pod and all of that today. So we are almost officially, I keep saying that, almost officially out of the townhouse. Almost. We're close. Yeah, as far as finding a local show, typically you have your regional promoters. Like here in the Mid-Atlantic zone, Gary Udit is our regional director. So the majority of the shows are on his website. You got to find the promoters typically. Overanalyzing the online comparison. Yeah, you just did that to me earlier today. Overanalyzing the online comparisons. You sure did. But yeah, typically you just have to kind of get on Google. And like for example, I'm in Virginia. So if I go onto Google and I put in Virginia NPC, then the promoters here in Virginia are all going to pop up. That's how you found it. Google. Real easy. Yes, Jennifer, you are guilty. You are guilty. But yeah, so we'll be back on again tomorrow night. Yeah, so true, right? We do have a Sundays with Shawn this coming weekend. So I think we're pretty close to full. I think we have like 2 or 3 spots available for this weekend. So if you are local or if you want to come up for Sundays with Shawn, get on that list. Hair and makeup, get signed up for that stuff. And I think that's all I have to announce right now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are getting close. Our watch hours are getting up. Our subscribers are getting up. So subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, like, get us some traffic here so we can keep building these live streams and keep getting you guys some more content and keep answering the questions that you all have and educating and helping you guys in your competitive journey. That's what we do. That's what we do here. So yes, so great every single time. Yes, I'm going to start posing with you guys too. Since I'm in prep, I need to start posing during the actual workshop myself, not just running them. I need to practice. And with that, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing. You can also contact us through cutiecare@ShawnStoreCuties.com. If you go onto our website, there is a chat box. You can chat in with us anytime that you need to. Any questions that you have, that chat box is available for you. Yes, SWS is super helpful. So I'm going to let you guys go for tonight because I have some posing critiques to send out into our posing portal for all of you ladies that are in there. And I am going to take an Epsom salt bath tonight because I'm sore as crap from lifting and training and all of the fun stuff. So have a great evening. I'm going to log off of Instagram first. And we'll go to YouTube next. Good night.